Word classes and conversion. Let's see that how word classes change. For example, we use the word parts of speech, and we know that the same word may be discussed in different word classes or as different parts of speech, right? How word change classes. So let's look at this. The word class to which a lexeme belongs is mainly determined by its meaning. So we determine that a word will be a verb on the basis of its meaning. The word will be a noun on the basis of its meaning, right? So on the basis of the meaning, we determine that a certain word belongs to a certain class. However, this belief is not very correct because we find some problem with this notion. Verbs are doing words. If we say that words are doing words, while nouns are thing words, so and adjective are describing words, do these meanings give us some truth or help us in determining all the words? So that's the question here. The trouble with these meaning-based definitions is that if one takes them seriously, they require us to lump together lexeme whose grammatical behavior is quite different and distinguish between one whose grammatical behavior is similar, right? So we find a certain word, right, who is used as verb, but it's not a doing word. And we may also find a word who may be used as a noun, right? But it is some doing word. So we come across these confusions. Lexeme perform, which looks like a prototypical doing word, denoting something that actors and musicians do. But do all the verbs behave in the similar way? That is the question. The lexeme performance denote the same activity, performance, same, something that actors or musician do. So one is a verb and one is a noun, and they have different contexts. They cannot be changed, replaced with each other. So does that mean that perform and performance belong to the same word class? Obviously not. Perform is a verb and performance is a noun. Perform has four forms: perform, performs, performing, and performed. Performance has two: performance and performances. This classification can be made solely on the basis of their syntactic inflectional behavior with no appeal to meaning. Meaning may be positively misleading since a performance is not obviously a thing. Compare now the lexeme perform and resemble. Resemble, one may think, hardly accounts an activity. Obviously, if you say that she resembles her mother, it is not an activity. So resemble here is used as verb, but it is not a doing word. My great uncle William resembles a giraffe is not to report some action of his, but rather to describe him. So it means that here resemble is an adjective, not at all. It is a verb. So the old concept of word class and parts of speech is confusing on the basis of their meaning. So we know that describing words are adjectives. The meaning motivated conclusion falls foul of syntactic and inflectional evidence. We cannot approve this notion completely. These adjectives have degrees: taller, tallest, and phrasal substitute like more interesting and most interesting. but we know that resemble cannot have these degrees. It has a set of form like perform, resemble, resembles, resembled, etc. So if we take verb as doing words, we risk neglecting the syntactic and the inflectional parallels of the words, and we cannot justify them because we know that both perform and resemble are verbs. So there comes a question, can't a lexeme have both noun forms and verb forms? Yes, a lexeme can have. A root that can carry verbal suffixes such as ad or ing, as well as noun plurals such as s, must belong to two lexeme, not one. The more interesting question then is, do such roots exist? The answer is certainly yes. There are certain roots which can have ed, ing, and which can also have a plural s. For example, hope and fear, and many other words which behave in the similar way. They are called ambivalent words. For example, wish, desire, father. She hoped that it would rain. So here we see hope as verb. She feared that it would rain. Here we see fear as verb. Her hope that it would rain and her fear that it would rain. So we can see that in second A and B, the same verb hope and fear used as verb in the first two sentences are used as nouns. They can take s of plural. So they behave in the similar way as a noun does. So some linguists claim that hope and fear as nouns are really zero derived, carrying a phonologically empty and therefore unpronounceable zero morpheme or zero suffix. Hope plus zero suffix or fear plus zero suffix. So they call it that it's an example of the zero suffix. Others prefer a lexeme belonging to one class can simply be converted to another without any change in shape. So we can say this seems to us better, right? It's easily understandable to the students that same can be used as a same verb can be used as noun and same noun can be used as verb, and we can call that they are converted as noun or as verb. So it's a matter of conversion from one class to another class. Sometimes, despite the risk already mentioned of relying on meaning or as a criterion, the basic meaning seems clearly appropriate to one word class rather than another. For example, father can function as a verb. He fathered 3 sons. But it is, when used, seems to have more noun-like qualities than of verb on the basis of its meaning. So we can say that to some extent we can rely on meaning, but not in every sense we can rely on meaning. There are certain cases in which we have to think of some change of classes in case of hope or fear like words as having a conversion or change of class from one parts of speech or one class of words to another class of words.